Charlie Kirk's death was no random tragedy. It was the opening act of a manufactured civil war, orchestrated down to the last frame. Inside stamped folders leaked from the CIA and NASA are memos, timelines and kill chains. A plan so clinical it reads like a script. Assassinate the loudest voices in America on live TV, amplify the shock, and turn grief into a weapon. As the nation lights candles and points fingers, the paper trail shows this didn't happen overnight. It was plotted for years. 2025 wasn't random, it was the target date chosen by the globalists to sharpen division in America into something irreversible. Tonight, we tear open those files. We follow the architects, the dates, the back-channel meetings. We don't preach, we have the receipts. We show you what's written in black and white. If you think this is paranoia, you're exactly who they counted on. If you think you already know the truth, think again. Before we get into all of that, let's talk about staying one step ahead of the deep state via our partner VP.net. VP.net isn't just another VPN, it's the next evolution in private browsing, built with unbreakable zero-logging architecture. That means no records, no traces. Literally nothing for governments, deep state operatives, or foreign bad actors to seize, even if they're plotting to drag us into a civil war. Your data, it stays locked down forever. No compromises. The suspect in the killing of Charlie Kirk has been named as Tyler Robinson, now locked up without bail in a Utah jail. But the story of being fed is already cracking. The official narrative says he carried out the hit with a Mauser rifle, but video shows him bolting from the rooftop empty-handed, just seconds after the shots. And weapons experts are clear. You can't break down and reassemble a Mauser on the move in a matter of seconds. So if Robinson didn't pull the trigger the way the FBI claims, the question isn't just what happened, it's why are they lying to us about it? The FBI's official narrative stretches credibility even further, by claiming the rifle was recovered in the woods with its barrel fully reinstalled. That would mean the suspect somehow disassembled and then reassembled a Mauser, a process that is anything but quick or simple, all while fleeing the scene. Conservative commentator Michael Savage is calling foul on the FBI's account of the shooting, saying we're not hearing or seeing reality, and declaring the official narrative reeks of a staged event.
Now, the Mauser does not break down very easily, incidentally, for those of you who know weapons. Something's wrong with the whole thing. They're trying to claim he removed the barrel from the Mauser and fit the receiver and stock in his backpack and barrel in his pants leg, all in 2 seconds. It is not easy to remove a Mauser barrel or index it after reinstalling and remain accurate. We are not hearing or seeing reality. And by the way, the photo of the rifle allegedly left in the woods has the barrel installed. So we're supposed to believe a guy is on the run after killing Charlie Kirk, and he pauses in the woods to reinstall a barrel, and then he leaves it for us to find, the FBI to find. I don't believe a word of it. I shouldn't do this. I know I'm putting myself at risk, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take the bullshit from this fucking government. It's lying to us. Something's wrong. Something's so wrong. It's sickening. Look at this idiot. They found the rifle and they're getting the prints. Are you stupid? Are you that stupid? Are you that dumb? The man jumps off the roof. There's no rifle there. Oh, it's in his backpack. I just told you, moron, that this rifle doesn't break down that easily. And then it's supposed to be reassembled while he's on the run. Wait, I'll stop now and reassemble it and leave it in the woods in a box, wrapped in a towel. He left breadcrumbs. Oh, and the trans stuff on the cartridges. Bullshit. Something is wrong with this whole fucking picture.
People are noticing the same silhouettes, the same gestures. The man who played a leading role in the Trump assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, was also standing behind Charlie Kirk, signalling before the shot rang out. Just 20 minutes after Charlie Kirk was gunned down at Utah Valley University, a private jet quietly lifted off from Provo Airport, a private airfield less than 12 minutes away from the scene of the crime. The aircraft, bearing the tail number N888KG, is deliberately hidden from public tracking at the request of its owner, a red flag in itself. But what happened after takeoff is even more unsettling. Roughly 30 minutes into its flight, the jet suddenly dropped off ADS-B tracking, as if it had vanished into thin air, For nearly an hour, there was no trace of it at all. And then, just as abruptly, it reappeared, heading back towards Provo, as though nothing had happened. Why is there so much confusion and weirdness surrounding the incident? And how could the suspect escape capture for more than 2 days? Because confusion isn't an accident, it's part of the playbook. The stranger and messier the details look, the easier it is to bury the truth under noise. Conflicting timelines, shaky video, contradictory statements. All of it keeps people arguing about side issues instead of asking the real question. Who's running the show? Here's a clue. Before his death, Charlie Kirk turned down a funding offer from Netanyahu and confided that he felt pressured and threatened by powerful Israeli forces. A close friend now tells the Grey Zone that this was the turning point. Kirk's shift on Israel sparked a backlash that left him shaken, angry, and afraid for his life.
I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it, I know it. He was going through a lot and there was a lot of pressure. And it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him, I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, there's something about it that just feels really fake to me. And they would have allowed him to lose and wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion. And then to see them doing what they're doing today, it's hurtful to me. It's very hurtful to me. But I don't want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. And I will never unsee the footage of what I saw, the violence of it.
Charlie was right to be terrified. His spiritual transformation involved him realizing some politically inconvenient things that even a massive bribe from Benjamin Netanyahu couldn't convince him to forget about. At that instant, Kirk stopped being just a commentator and became the opening casualty in a blueprint written before 9/11. A string of false flags designed to terrorize a nation and turn disagreement into all-out war. Suddenly, it makes sense why the government are treating his death like they would a military or elected official, and why he's being buried in state at the Capitol. Trump knows this was a state assassination, and Kirk is a fallen soldier. Sounds extreme? Sounds impossible? Listen to what the deep state government files actually say. We'll be right back, and when we come back, we put the documents on the table. Let's be real. We've all been fed the lie that wrinkle creams are the ticket to looking young. I call bullshit. Dr. John Lake, a renegade beauty expert out of Beverly Hills, says that's a scam. Most of those fixes are just overpriced lotions that do nothing, or worse, mess up your skin. He says that he's done with the scammy cosmetic industry. Why? Because he wants to expose something they don't want you to know about. A 2-minute trick that's like Photoshop for your face. Wrinkles gone. Years erased. And it's so easy, you'll be pissed that you fell for their junk before. The cosmetic industry is afraid of the secret, because this could gut their racket. Lake is spilling the truth in a free video exclusively for viewers of this channel. No strings, no interruptions, just all the steps needed to do it yourself. It's already amassed over 2 million views because it actually works. People are dropping decades and the comments don't lie. You've got to see this. Visit bhmd1.com/TPV, the link's below. Don't sleep on this because it's the real beauty secret they don't want you to know about. Visit bhmd1.com/TPV. Leaked official NASA and CIA documents reveal decades of high-level globalist preparations for a series of assassinations and false flags, designed to spark a manufactured civil war starting in, wait for it, 2025.
A document that actually is a PowerPoint presentation by Dennis Bushnell, the chief NASA scientist at the Langley Center. And it was presented in 2001, July of 2001, just a few months before 9/11. And what brought my attention to it and immediately rang some uncomfortable realizations was when we first came across it. It says on the website, Future Strategic Issues, Future Warfare circa 2025. And as I decided to just flip through it quickly to see what it was about, I was a little stunned on page 4. It said, the presentation is based in all cases upon existing data, trends, analysis technologies, no pixie dust.
And was this intentional? Did they want the public to see this, do you think? Or?
Well, again, the Illuminati, the most wealthy, rich men on the face of the planet, always telegraph everything that they're going to do. So the fact that it was on the NASA website, it was certainly available to the public, but did they see it? Obviously not. Because had they looked at this document, you would know about it right now.
Here's where it gets really disturbing. According to the documents, published just before 9/11, the plan to launch the Chaos in 2025 involves assassinating Americans on live TV for maximum public trauma. Sound familiar?
What it said, which was quite shocking, on page 93, it said, capture, torture Americans in living color on prime time. And that is an unbelievable statement. Then it's followed up by saying terror attacks within the continental United States using binary biologicals take down critical infrastructure. They are going to use an EMP, which is an electromagnetic pulse. They're going to use radiation frequencies against our brains, etc., and conduct serious psy-war and collateral damage and exploitation. On the same page 93, they say exploit CNN syndrome. Now, CNN, of course, is the network, the news media network.
The brutal fact is that Israel leads global assassinations over the last 5 years, accounting for 80% of the approximately 1,000 total cases worldwide. That's a verified fact. Go on and ask Grok. And if you don't believe they would dare to carry out assassinations on US soil, ask yourself why they've been involved behind the scenes in every mass casualty, even on US soil, in the last 50 years, including 9/11. Just ask Tucker Carlson, the very figure Charlie Kirk was beginning to mirror in his fearless pursuit of truth. And that, insiders say, is exactly what powerful forces were desperate to prevent.
No, of course I didn't allege that, the Jews did it. I don't even know what that means. I think, in fact, saying things like that is a way to discredit real questions.
Right.
Like, we know, Benjamin Netanyahu on camera right after said this is a good thing because it brings the United States into a conflict that we've been involved in on an existential level for decades. He said that out loud. I'm not guessing, you can pull the tape. We know that a group of Israeli art students, who clearly were not art students, clearly some of them were aligned with Israeli intelligence, were arrested and held for quite some time in the United States before being released without charges. And we know that a group of them, again, I'm quoting an FBI document here, not the internet, filmed the attacks on 9/11, and I'm quoting, seemed to have foreknowledge of those attacks. Now, you were not allowed to follow up in any of this. Fox News did a series with Britt Hume and Carl Cameron, which many people have seen in a bootleg version on the internet, but they did it like within weeks, saying, what is this? There was an Israeli spy ring in the United States, and they clearly knew 9/11 was coming. This is Fox News. They pulled that under pressure. They pulled that off the internet. It's not searchable in any Fox News archive, but they aired it. I know the people who did it. Of course, I worked with them for years. They're real people. They're not crazy. In fact, they're pro-Israel, but they had a fact set before them, and they reported it, which is called journalism, and subsequent generations have been forbidden from noting what is now factually true. Those are factually true statements. Now, we tried to interview some of those people. One lives in the United States, in California, and made no headway whatsoever. And we knew as we did it, by the way, that we're going to be attacked as anti-Semites or something.
Carlson understands how the system functions, but does he understand how deep the conspiracy goes? Jewish writer Jacob Cohen explains the say in him. Tens of thousands of civilian Jews around the world who spy for Israel, spread propaganda, and help Mossad.
The Sayanim are tens of thousands of people, Jews, Zionists, who are members probably of the Bnei Brit, for instance. Bnei Brit is the Jewish Masonry, who occupy high level in all the societies. You can imagine 5,000 Sayanim in New York, only in the business area. 5,000 Sayanim in Los Angeles, in the production area, in the artistic area. And you can, in France, in London, you can imagine 1,000 Sayanim in the medias. You can imagine, and they receive orders from the Mossad, from a department of the Mossad called the War Department. And they work for the Mossad. It means that all these people who have their work, who work normally, they are citizens. I mean, they work in a bank, they are political, they are publishers. But when the Mossad call them and tell them, look, I need an information. I need, for instance, I need that all the Sayanim in all over the world say that this person, for instance, the Secretary General of the United Nations, has said something anti-Semitic. And you see all over the world, in Europe, in New York, the medias, you have the impression, I mean, when I discovered that, I understood. I mean, it's like when you light the light on, you know, because suddenly you open a newspaper, you listen to a radio, you hear a politician, everybody says the Secretary General of the United States said something anti-Semitic. I mean, the poor guy, and why? Because the Mossad gave the order to do that. And I can say, for instance, the example of Gilad Shalit, you know, the Israeli soldier kidnapped by the Hamas. In 24 hours, his name was known all over the world. I mean, even if it was an American general who was kidnapped, his name would never have been mentioned. Gilad Shalit, in 24 hours, became a celebrity in the universe. And this is the work of the Sayanim.
Remember the private jet that took off from Provo Airfield straight after the attack with its radar illegally turned off? Take a look at who owns it. Just another coincidence in the on-air assassination that raises more questions than answers? And one that slots neatly into the long-promised globalist plan to destabilise the United States? You be the judge. Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and family about us, and join the People's Voice Locals community for exclusive and uncensored content. We can't do it without you.